What's up guys, JV2017 here, and I am bringing you the final fight, the final battle, the Malthael boss fight of Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. Now this is not in live commentary format, normal walkthrough format, mainly because this fight is very difficult. Actually so difficult that I could not beat it in like an hour or two. An hour or two of trying to beat this on master difficulty. I just could not beat it, so I had to bump it down to expert, but I'm just going to give you guys kind of a rundown of how this fight works out, and so you're aware. So basically what was wrong with my initial, I guess, build with my wizard, I'm not exactly sure. I was able to get Malthael to his second phase where he kind of transforms and turns into kind of a, I guess, a Diablo slash Malthael kind of form, I guess you could say. But basically this new build kind of provides a little more survivability. There's a certain passive that saves you if you get hit down all the way, and you have energy armor, and it provides a little bit more damage, but not a lot more damage. So anyways, that's basically the extent of the difference between the build. I guess I could go through the specific you know, abilities that I have on. First off, I have magic missile, but it's the, I believe it's the frost version, which slows Malthael down. You really have to slow him down because he's a very quick moving boss, so definitely keep that in mind. On the X button I have the spark flint, or sorry, it's the familiar with the spark flint rune, which just gives you a base of 10% more damage. So that's just helpful, it's useful, gives you more damage, just a solid passive buff basically at that point. Next up is the energy armor, which I have on prismatic armor, which gives you resistances in every single category. So that's, again, that is pretty much the crutch of this build, the energy armor is, because when he charges you, like you just did, it can kill you almost on the higher difficulty modes. So I was on master and that was practically killing me. So you have to have the energy armor if you're running a wizard in order to survive those ridiculous, you know, charges. Next up is the magic weapon with force weapon. So that's, again, just a passive bonus to your damage, which is useful. Next up is the mirror image. So I usually don't use mirror image. I usually use Archon or Archon, whatever you want to call it. But mirror image, it's as you can tell, spawns 2 extra versions of yourself, and then I've got the rune on, I believe, that makes them cause the same amount of damage as me and have the same amount of health as me. So the benefit of this is that Malthael actually, I think, he's attracted to your mirror images as well as you, and so that kind of allows your mirror images to somewhat tank him on some of the attacks that he hits you with. So that's the reason I'm using that. Finally, I'm using Ray of Frost. You could really use anything in this category. You could use Disintegration. You could use Arcane Orbs with the Frost rune on. It's really up to you. I just decided to use the Ray of Frost in this scenario. Again, this is bumped down to Expert, so it really probably does matter on Master and up, but it doesn't really matter on Expert. He's not too tough or difficult. But anyways, I guess the remainder of this I'll kind of go over Malthael's abilities. So first off, we're in the second phase. So in the first phase, Malthael charges at you a bunch. He spawns these little clouds. These little clouds actually creep towards you constantly. He has this whirlwind attack that he's doing right now, and that deflects projectiles, so it's best not to shoot anything at him when he does that. And also in the first phase, what else does he do? There's kind of a second part of the first phase, so I guess you could say the phase that we're in right now is the third phase. Anyways, second part of the first phase, he spawns mobs, and that's when it gets really difficult as well, and it's just frustrating because they deal so much damage and you can't really get them off the map here because they have a lot of health, especially if you're on a higher difficulty. And then the last thing he does in the first phase, the first group of phases, is these skulls that he spawns, and they swirl and you just have to avoid them. If you get hit by 2 or 3, you're just dead. It's absolutely crazy. And then this phase, the final phase, he kind of like turns into Diablo slash Malthael, like I said before. And he does this, he doesn't have any mobs, which is good. He stops spawning mobs, and he stops doing his thing where he stands in the middle. I forgot to mention that. He stands in the middle and spawns these little things that go towards you. That's the easiest part. But anyways, he stops doing all that stuff, and then when he does go to the middle, he shoots these giant fireballs, which are actually easier to avoid. And then he does this like blood spray mist move. I'll point it out. So here, right here, he goes to the middle, he shoots the fireballs, and then the blood mist. That stuff one-shots you, okay? It one-shots you on Master and up, almost. So it's very difficult to avoid. I'm not using teleport here because I'm using the prismatic energy armor, so that's how I'm surviving. But using teleport on the wizard is a good way to mitigate that, but really the best mitigation is having this energy armor. It's a lifesaver. That's the only reason you're using it, is because of that ridiculous blood mist, because you can be destroying Malthael up until this last phase. However, once he has this blood mist, he can just wreck you, just go through you completely, go through all of your toughness, defenses, ignore your mitigation, and just kill you. And it's very frustrating. So anyways, guys, that's my pretty thorough breakdown of the Malthael fight, especially with the wizard. You know, I'm sure there are a lot of different kind of strategies for different classes. As you can tell, he drops 2 legendaries. It looks like he dropped 3 for me, but one of them is just a legendary plan, which I don't really consider a legendary. But he drops a lot of stuff, and he drops the legendaries the first time you kill him, so on each character. So keep that in mind when you are playing on all your characters on Reaper of Souls. So hope you guys enjoyed this walkthrough. This is the last video, of course, because we killed Malthael. It's about a 3-hour DLC, right? That makes sense. Yeah, about 3 hours, a little bit more, depending on what difficulty you're on, how much you die, etc., etc. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough once again, and stay tuned for possibly more Diablo videos on my channel. I'll have to think of something to post before Destiny comes out. So hope you guys enjoyed. For the 3rd time, talk to you all later. Peace!